Hi, I'm Lanny, and I want to take a moment at the start of this video to thank our sponsor, MeUndies, not only for providing me with wonderful, breathable, supportive, comfortable undergarments, but also allowing me to put underwear model on my resume. Now, I don't know what implications this has professionally, but I do know it's a great conversation starter. Another great conversation starter are the wonderful designs that MeUndies comes in. Like these beautiful, sexy mushrooms. But if that's not your style, they got a whole slate of loungewear, ranging from fancy designs to just plain old black. And they're all comfortable, supportive, and wonderful for any time of the year.
Are those glow in the dark?
I think I do have a pair that I think that Galaxy pair actually does, the pair I wore on the last ad.
Oh, okay.
They do fun stuff under blacklight for sure.
Oh.
And if you go to MeUndies.com/4starbento, you can get 20% off your first order plus free shipping on all of their wonderful designs. But they also have a worry-free guarantee, so if you don't like your first pair, that's on them. And all of their materials are responsibly sourced, so you can feel good from your soul to your hole. Just go to MeUndies.com/4starbento, get that 20% off discount and free shipping. And now, I'll sit back down. I'm never wearing pants when we have talks. Like this, when we're sitting here, I'm never wearing pants.
Yeah, this isn't anything new for me.
No, this is always. I used to go commando until MeUndies sponsored us.
Step into the grand tour of Dragon Ball GTFS.
We made it!
Yeah.
It's done!
It's finished.
We watched all of GT and the special. Special sucked.
Special kind of sucked.
So
Sorry.
did a bunch of GT, but not as much as the special.
So.
At least the special was shorter, but I don't know. I want to go through do we want to go through this like bit by bit, or do we want to go through this and just say like good, bad?
So that is interesting. How about this? How about we do a little bit of both?
Okay.
How about bit by bit we go through this series?
Okay, you can start with the first arc.
But let's go like the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay, so do we want to break that down by arc?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? I usually wouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it for the sake of the audience who likes to separate the Black Star saga and the Baby saga.
Oh yeah, I would anyway.
Yeah.
Because
I
you can't include Lude with Baby, even though that's kind of the tweener period.
I would say that they're all technically connected.
But there is a clear shift in tone.
Yes, but I will say the story really starts at the beginning and only really wraps up at the end of Baby.
It's kind of like, theoretically, the androids and Cell are the same arc.
Yeah.
But there is definitely a divide where it stops being the android saga and starts being the Cell saga.
Yeah, but so for me it's always the Saiyan, Namek, androids, and Boo. That's how I separate it. For me, it's just the four. Now you can separate.
Yeah, there's
smaller things.
There's subdivisions.
I don't go as granular as Funimation did. They were like.
Well, yeah, but that was for like box set release reasons.
Yeah,
like you can break it down however much you want.
Yeah, but let's start off with I'd say up until
the end of Lude.
Well, okay, so the first bit. The good, for me, without any doubt, is that there are some really cute and fun episodes.
Yeah, there's some very good, first episodes.
Yeah.
I remember actually enjoying the first episode where we're getting, introduced to Pan, introduced to, where everybody is now, getting acquainted with the idea that Goku's a kid again, the kidnapping stuff. There were, even, the bits that you would consider, all right, let's get through this, were kind of cute.
Yeah, it's very funny to me because Funimation made that decision, and I think sort of maybe informed by Toei, that, hey, these first batch of episodes are unlike what you just left off on. The audience might not appeal to this modern audience. So they made the decision to cut them, and upon rewatch, they were some of my favorite episodes of the show.
Yeah, some of them, I could take,
Okay, everything to do with Lude.
Everything to do with Lude, good swaths of Capitalism Planet.
Yeah, so a lot of it could have been shortened. And that's so weird. When you're talking about it, it's like, wow, I could tell you a billion places where you could have just cut stuff. Episodes could have been smashed together. like the show suffers from this incredibly slow pacing and meanders a lot, and also it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But you know, that's what that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, those first bits, really good stuff. Like I love like the giant planet.
B Planet still stands out to me as like a. It's a top 10 moment of the show.
Yeah, because it's like it's what the show wanted to be at the start.
It's the idea of like the whimsy, the adventure. The you know, it doesn't always have to be. They didn't jump into like the idea of okay, we need to solve everything with violence until lewd kind of started kicking around.
Yeah. And it's really disappointing to me that, you know, when they had started on the show, they had this whole plot written out. And then 3 episodes in, like they had finished 3 episodes and they realized they had to rewrite a bunch of the stuff they had because it was already getting boring, which sucks because for me, I think that you could have had a lot more adventures like this if they had just gotten a little like, maybe a little bit weirder and a little less slowly paced.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot
They needed to do a lot more episode of the week kind of things, less arcs in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, Capitalism Planet being 3 episodes, no. You can resolve that in an episode.
Yeah, I mean that could have been 2. You could have done that.
It could have been 2, but you could have resolved it in 1.
Yeah, the fact that it was 3 though, like, oh man.
The misery of their like the entire second episode where they're just sneaking around, forgetting how to fly for no reason.
Yeah. No, the show's highly inconsistent with what its characters can do. But no, sorry, good stuff. I also I don't mind a lot of like the designs in the show either. There's some really creative stuff. The colors are a little weird. I was never a huge fan of GT's color palette specifically because it always felt way earthier, like way more toned down. I feel like we were getting a lot of.
It was
pastels.
either way more toned down or way more vibrant than you expected. Like there was no in between.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the color palette all the time, but you know. Like there's still a lot of really good visual moments in terms of like, gosh, sorry, I don't mean to like. I feel like I am digging for praise in this first part, but I actually still remember enjoying a lot of it. But I don't know, it's tough because every time I say a good thing, then I have to balance it out, and I'm trying.
Yeah, I know it's weird sandwiches. If we want to start with the good. The good is they had some very cute moments. It's clear that a lot of the adventure aspect stuff, specifically like B Planet, really worked. Some of the space exploration stuff really worked. A lot of the overall stories that they were trying to tell, they worked. It's just that the pacing kind of killed some of them. And it's, I got to imagine, given the fact that they had to rewrite stuff, studio notes really messed with them in terms of like, okay, what are we doing? Like, you can see the chaos early on, and it kind of culminates with the lewd stuff, where that just felt like a schizophrenic nightmare for a while.
Yeah, no, he's not the real boss. I'm the real, but no, he's not the real boss. No, he's not the real boss. I'm the. No.
Do you remember in the opening where they had that segment where that giant knight is like swinging a blade around? It's like, oh man, like, you know, like that adventure bit that we never got. I feel like that was supposed to be a part of that arc. And we just never got it because they needed to jump into something that felt more Z.
Maybe. I mean, I remember every time I was watching that in the
opening. That entire society looked so medieval.
Also, why doesn't Trunks have his sword?
Tapion never showed up, man. What do you want?
I know. I'm just saying, like, in the opening, he's got the sword. Why not just give him the sword? Like, he should have the sword. Give Trunks the sword back.
I'm still a firm believer that he should have never gone and it should have been Piccolo.
I mean, yeah.
Should have been Piccolo. I'll die on that hell.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, the opening's really good, and all the endings are very good.
Yeah.
Every ending is amazing. It's some of the best music Dragon Ball's gotten.
Yeah, we get some fun character moments, though it feels like for this first arc we do kind of want to start. I don't know how much more praise I do have for this one. There are some interesting artistic moments, like Pan playing the video game. We meet so Giru.
Cool. Yes.
Who, not immediately great, but would eventually be the greatest.
Yeah, Giru only levels up as the show goes on, and Pan starts off good, gets bad immediately, and then evens out.
Middles out, then just kind of becomes somewhat of a non-character.
Yeah, she starts off so strong at the beginning of the Shadow Dragons arc, but the moment 4-star shows up, it's over. She's not a character anymore. So she gets approximately like 6-7 episodes to be a character in the Dragon arc. It's sort of sad.
Even in the beginning arc, she shows up, she shows her personality, a tough girl. She's the daughter of Son Gohan and the granddaughter of Goku and Mr. Satan. She's got like that fighting edge to her. She's, tough, strong-willed, wants to be an adult. That whole coffee parfait scene was cute.
Yeah, it's remarkable how well the series starts out, if I had to be honest. As much as I really don't like turning Goku back into a kid and all of that, and the fact that Oob, the big character at the very end of the manga, gets immediately shunted, which, I'm still not getting over. That still sucks. That's bad storytelling.
It's impossible to pass a torch in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, apparently. But Pan, good introduction. I like her introduction. I like her as a character.
Unfortunately, as soon as they go out into space...
Right before they go off into space, and I get it, she's a kid, and that's mostly fine, but the show's had kid characters so far who weren't nearly as irritating. And
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the big problem is she then had to take on, not only being the annoying kid role, but also the mother role, so she had to be the one that nags.
She's unfortunately given the Bulma role, which she is ill-suited for. She needed to have the Goku role. That was the entire point with her. She needs to be the Goku, but we have a Goku,
and he's a kid again.
Who basically also...
He spends the entire first arc just vibing in the background until it's time for him to finish the plot.
Before it's time for him to do a Kamehameha. Yeah, that's his entire thing. And that's sort of frustrating because Pan is this character that every time I see her show up in other stuff now, I love her. I'm sorry.
Superheroes, she's fucking amazing.
Yeah, she's so cute. Here, they start strong and then immediately drop the ball on her for arcs. And it's just, I don't know.
She's just mean, petulant. To sum up the entire feeling of Pan, that desert episode.
Oh yeah, no, that desert episode is devastating for her character.
Absolutely abysmal for her character.
Yeah, just completely, it took whatever left we had of goodwill towards that character and wasted it by looking us in the eye and saying, no, Pan should not be here. She is actually a detriment to the mission. She should go home.
I'll never forget that cut. Because, that entire time, she had just solved the previous arc, helped them solve the previous arc. And it's Pan, I'm going to go and prove to you that I'm just as good as all of you. I'm going to go get that Dragon Ball. Pan, where'd you go? Dead.
Yeah, right? I don't know.
Giru had to save her. And she's so mean to him.
The screwed up thing is, this episode didn't need to exist. We didn't need an episode where Pan proves herself. She
had already proved herself.
Yeah, all this episode did was prove that she shouldn't be there. So, yeah, I don't know. The rest of the good stuff.
I feel like we did it.
Yeah, unfortunately in this first arc.
This first arc, strong beginning, great character moments, cute little adventures where they were.
Yeah. Now let's get to the bad.
I feel like I've been... on that for a second, but if I want to go into other bad, everything about Lude. Everything about Lude.
See, Lude could have worked to a certain extent, but it needed to be maybe 2 episodes.
It was overly complicated.
Yeah, weirdly so.
They had the whip guy who turned people into dolls, who threw them into a jar. That powered up Lude.
And Lude was a machine mutant made by Dr. Mew that we find out later. Again,
and Doll Taki exists.
And the constant switching out of who the big bad was got so hilarious that by the time we finally got to Dr. Mew, I thought it was over. But I wasn't. Because it wasn't Dr. Mew.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
so convoluted, unnecessary. The whip was apparently a character. That character gets blasted away in one shot. Super Saiyan is just really disrespected in that entire arc. Trunks goes Super Saiyan for the first time to throw away bricks.
Yeah.
It's abysmal.
There's something I want to say right now before I forget this. Because... and I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit just to make a point. Some people talk about Piccolo's death later on, and they say, well, don't look at it as, his death in GT. Look at it as his death from the entire show. You do not want me to treat GT as if it's a part of the larger narrative, because the more you do, the worse things are.
Yeah.
Because in terms of the power scaling, in terms of
just narrative flow,
characters' abilities, the use of certain characters, everything about it, GT only looks worse the more you try and connect it with its previous material, which you have to do no matter what. Obviously, you're connecting you're going from one to the other. But when people say, hey, you need to treat it as just a continuation, that hurts this. Because everything feels way more inconsistent, makes no sense.
And it's still super unearned.
Yeah.
Like the entire moment, but we'll get there.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, Super Saiyan. When do they use it? Can they use it? Can Goku use it? What does it mean? How powerful is Goku? We don't know. The series doesn't know.
He's still apparently stronger than Trunks as a child.
Yeah, and apparently he's stronger than Boo because he fights off Rild. Rild, stronger than Boo, which, look, I'm okay. At this point, you sort of have to accept that there are other things in the universe that are apparently stronger than Boo.
Look, Jiro was able to create machines that were stronger than Frieza.
Yeah, I'm just going to accept that Mew basically just kind of created, helped make these characters stronger. But, still, there's so many inconsistencies between the original manga and this show that...
Yeah, I actually want to get into, inconsistencies a little later, because I have, a whole thing.
Yeah, but,
in terms of the bad of the Gather the Dragon Balls arc.
Yeah.
Everything about Lude, the fact that Daltaki exists in general, just that whole thing with him and Pan, just no. Never again.
And then all the stuff when they're trapped in Lude and have to synchronize with each other, I was dying. It was so boring.
Just get this over with.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm sure for kids this was wow, this is all weird and crazy, but I can go back and I can watch any of the old Dragon Ball stuff and find the charm there because it's not nearly as awkward or weirdly paced or nonsensical. Weird to say that Dragon Ball as a manga is less nonsensical than GT. Because Dragon Ball the manga is not perfect. It really isn't. It's got all of its own problems, many of which we've talked about. I could go on.
But GT has more.
Yes, GT has just more. And honestly, I'm kind of sick of people saying, I've heard people saying, oh, you're nitpicking. There's nothing but nits. There's nothing but nits.
Do you like all of those nits, or would you like them gone?
Yeah.
There's so many nits.
I'm sorry, it's not nitpicking.
It's an infestation.
Yeah, it's not nitpicking if after I've picked all the nits, everything has fallen apart. Because it's connected. It's just so many little problems.
You need a special shampoo for all of them.
Yeah.
Just it's... Yeah, the entire first part, and it was thrown into chaos due to the fact that they had to start rewriting immediately, and they were already on a schedule.
Yeah.
So it's hard to entirely blame the show, but what we got was bad because of what happened.
Yeah, it's just tough because. When the good stuff was happening, I was able to just kind of be okay, this is cute and fun and this is working for me. And I'd be oh, good. All right, some good stuff. And then the next thing I know, I just get slapped in the face with something really dumb or really boring. Again, the lewd stuff, it's probably the worst. It's probably the worst.
It is the worst of GT. There's pacing problems later, but lewd was awful.
Yeah.
The best thing I can say about the Lude arc is that it was so batshit insane that at the very least it's enjoy a bad at times until it gets just bad, please end bad.
Yeah, at least we had stuff to talk about. At least we just watched the TV special. I felt like I barely had anything to talk about with that because it was just kind of
that
boring.
Was bland bad.
Yeah, this Lude is just over the top crazy bad. I'll never get over the whip guy just getting murked out of nowhere and that's it.
And his really weird inconsistent powers where it's haha, I have whip arms and these whips make things come to life.
Yeah. GT
Batshit insanity. At the very least, it was doing some shit that kept your attention until it was just big baby lewd.
Yeah.
Then it was insufferable.
Yeah, no, that last bit with actual lewd sucks. It is not good. Except for one part.
Para brothers giving up on their shtick.
Yeah, no, like that, good stuff. Only good part.
Yeah, I'm even willing to, like, Para brothers, I will stand by this. You can't fight me because you're wrong. Better in the dub. Like,
Yeah,
if anybody fights me on that, they are better in the dub.
No, I'll give it up. I'll give it up.
Yeah.
The dub version of them is just genuinely better.
Mm-hmm. They worked for what they did. Their segment, like the parts where they were the, main problem, probably lasted a little too long. But at least they had kind of like an interesting resolution to their plot. They essentially won until the worms wiggled their way in.
Yeah.
But once we got to Lewd Planet, the fewer and fewer, like the more obstacles we got through, the worse it got.
Yeah. By the way, for anybody, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like for a lot of people are like, oh, you should have watched it dubbed. No.
I tried.
No.
I tried. I understand why he didn't want to.
And I understand that a lot of people are like, well, this is better in the dub. I don't care.
Some things are. Some things definitely are.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying I don't care because I'm not watching the dub because this is...
It defeats the purpose of what you wanted to do.
I wanted to watch the actual show and not an adaptation of it, which, oh, man. So,
let's move on to kind of like... we got to go into that like kind of tween area, but, where it's... Rildo to baby.
I'd say that like we're already getting Mew now, so I'd say where the American release started is basically where I'd say the baby arc starts.
Kind of, yeah. The Machine Mutant saga.
Yeah.
Rildo, like the robot planet, it has a neat design, but once again, it kind of suffers from a lot of pacing issues.
Because we get this introduction of, oh, this is Giru's planet, and Giru wants to go there, and there's something that's kind of messing with his head a little bit. They end up going there, and next thing we know, everything goes to shit. Rild is putting Trunks in carbonite. There's a big fight going out. Pan keeps trying to get into the hospital, or the base, and keeps getting thrown out.
Yeah, both Goku and Trunks get kidnapped. The Sigma Boys existed. Sigma Boys existed for a little bit. Rildo absorbs them. Rildo, overall, better than I remember. Like, I thought he was fine as a villain. Middling, but fine. And he had, when he and Goku were doing their one-on-one, interesting set pieces. I love that bit in the movie theater.
Oh, yeah. That fight is great. Actually, like, damn it. That is one of those moments where I'm like, wait, I'm enjoying myself. Unironically, I'm having fun with this.
Yeah.
GT, what are you doing?
That, and it led to my favorite, essentially like internal meme of the entire thing with Giru just being this special little guy. I love him. Oh, this fucking robot!
Yeah.
Ah! So good. I just love little Giru being treated like this war hero, and he's just so shiny and proud. He got a medal. He's getting fed all the stuff that he wants because he's giving them everything. I love him.
Yeah.
Giru deserves his flowers. Let him keep his flowers. And stop killing him. He dies more than Krillin.
He gets knocked around a lot. But yeah, the entire Rildo stuff, it's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but
they definitely had too many ideas for him.
Yeah, they had too many ideas, and also, again, the pacing in this show is so weird. Like the whole thing with Pan trying to get into the headquarters only to keep being thrown out. Guys, you've got to. I say, guys, you've got to.
It's been done.
Yeah, it's been done. But like, don't pace your stuff like this.
Yeah, a lot of things got like long in the tooth.
Yeah.
And
part of that kind of feels like they were like, oh shit, we need to buy time because we had to rewrite all of this stuff.
And we need to get to something that's a much more interesting concept.
Yeah.
Like the Rildo fight with Goku, while it does have like a few interesting moments here and there, drags on. He gets too many transformations. Like he starts off and he like has some fun abilities where he's able to like kind of like morph into things, fire rocket punches, like that part where he grabs Goku with the rocket punch and pulls him back in. Cool shit. Then they decided, you know what? What if he absorbed the Sigma Boys? Then he has a jetpack for no reason and he can do drill attacks. Fuck it. He's liquid metal now. They couldn't decide what to do with him.
Yeah, and he has no personality either. I mean, he's just a big tough guy who wants to like rule.
only one, maybe two of the villains in this have any personality.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say that...
Baby had the most personality of any of them.
Yes, Baby's the best villain in all of GT, and it's not even close.
Yeah, by concept, by design, by overall threat level. Yeah.
Hell, I'd even say by the real stuff, it's just sort of there. It's just to get us to Baby. And you know what?
It happens. There's some interesting stuff in between. There's some fun moments in between.
Yeah.
But it definitely had a fair number of ass pulls.
Yeah.
Like Trunks just kind of having this whole thing planned out, even though like him and Giru just planning something off screen felt a little convenient.
Oh, no, that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
That's also all the dialogue is really inconsistent about like, oh, wait, so did you hack the system? Did you put in a virus? What did you do? And I will never, ever get over the moment where they are standing there
While
watching
Mew is desperately trying to save Baby.
Yeah. At what point, I'm sorry, somebody had to be like, okay, we gotta...
We should probably stop him.
Yeah, either stop him, blow up the thing in the tube so it can't be saved. What are we doing here? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, like, probably so many things just kind of become an afterthought as soon as the next thing is introduced. Rildo just disappears. He just disappears after the final fight, and they're like up there with Mew. That's it. He shows up one more time.
Yeah, I can't remember how he died. Like
I'll remind you here in a second, because
Right.
like we get introduced to Baby in a really cool kind of creepy moment. Again, that whole Mac tonight thing.
Yeah.
But Baby, throughout this entire thing, is always weaker than our heroes. Like always on the back foot until the Vegeta stuff.
And I love that.
Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite
A
parts.
conniving villain that needs the power of others to be strong.
I mean, honestly, it's a return to our favorite version of Cell. Why the hell wouldn't we like it?
Just kind of in reverse. Like he needs to take over the body to be like strong.
Yeah.
And they blow up. They assume they kill Baby, but as long as a trace of him exists, he gets into Mew. And then Mew gets killed with a real sick sort of like xenomorph pop out. And this is the part of Baby that I love. The parasitic nature that he's just going to attach to somebody, take everything, like all of the stuff that he needs to grow, and then discard them as he sees fit.
Yeah.
And eventually just take control of them. That's how Rildo died, randomly. Baby just ended up in Rildo for no reason other than to be like, by the way, I'm still here.
Right? It's so weird. It's so weird. But yeah, now that we're on Baby, Baby is...
By concept, the best villain.
By concept, and I would say largely by execution. They were obviously...
This was some of the best stuff in the show.
Yeah.
Like the early stuff of Baby, especially when it's just him on Earth slowly consuming the entire planet while Goku and Trunks and Pan are out there gathering the remaining Dragon Balls. We have those few episodes early on where they save Green Boy, go to the hospital planet, and Baby's just kind of lurking throughout that, where he's, taking over the hospital little by little, escaping by plane, attacking them, getting into Trunks for the first time, which is cool. We're getting introduced to this new type of villain that, by all intents and purposes at the moment, can't stand up to our heroes at all.
No.
But is learning more about them, is learning more about himself and growing in power, and is just kind of this looming threat in the background.
Now, the one thing that does bother me is that, like, there's the whole thing about the fact that he's a Sufurian. Sufurian.
A Tuffle.
A Tuffle. I'm just going to go with Tuffle for right now, just because Sufurian is a fucking mouthful, and I just, whatever. When it comes to that whole background for him, it's an interesting idea, but it never feels real to me.
Yeah.
And that's largely because his character, first of all, he's really fun to listen to because the actor is doing great. His performance is so creepy and so different from any other Dragon Ball villain we've ever heard that I was immediately enthralled.
Yeah, it's very cold, calculated, a little underplayed.
Yeah, it's very soft. Something that I don't think the dub nailed as well. And so, like, watching through it, I'm like, oh shit, I love the way he sounds. I even like the way he looks. But in terms of his whole, what do you call it? His motivation?
Pathos, yeah, his motivation.
Like, he's like, oh, you dirty Saiyans. But it's like, I never feel it. Largely because he's always just got this grin. There's never this look on his face where he's like disgusted.
It's something that's like baked into him, but it doesn't really like. It kind of manifests itself, and there's this like poetic idea that the Saiyans overtook Planet Tuffle and turned it into Planet Vegeta, and then he overtakes Vegeta and kind of like takes on more of his. So like it's almost like this Saiyan nature overtakes him a little bit. Like there's this poetic dichotomy that they kind of play with the character that just doesn't really like. I could see an essay being written on it, but I could also see a lot of that essay being fluff and bullshit.
Yeah, because a lot of it is implied and it's never stated and it's never really explored. It's just kind of like you infer
it's stated.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, that's sort of interesting.
Yeah, at least he has a motivation.
It reminds me a lot of Zamos. I really liked Zamos, and I liked his whole motivation. Like, oh, these filthy human beings are wrecking the world,
and they're trying to to attain godhood. I'll show them.
Yeah, and it's like for a minute there, it's really good, but at some point they kind of stop exploring it, and it just becomes like, oh,
now I'm evil.
Yeah,
and just kill everybody.
Now I'm evil, and I'm past that, and it's like, oh, but that whole conflict was interesting. I would have played more with that. I would have done more with that. And that's sort of the problem with a lot of this stuff is like, hey, you have these headier concepts, but it always feels like we're coming up short when it comes to actually exploring the characters, which, isn't the worst thing. Dragon Ball's full of a lot of simple characters that are very effective. But it just kind of reminds me like, oh man, there's just a lot with Baby there that I would have wanted more of.
Yeah, but it is some of the more interesting stuff that we ever get. Like while Goku, Trunks, and Pan are off doing the remainder of the Gathering the Dragon Balls adventure,
Baby's down on the planet.
The entire chunk we get with him just slowly overtaking everybody on Earth is probably one of the best parts of this show.
Yeah.
Like it has some fun moments. Dude, like jacked middle manager dude blowing up the store. The giving Goten actual time and stuff to shine.
I know, right? Like it's so funny to me because those moments in that part of the arc, I was like, oh shit, okay, these are a good stretch of episodes. I'm into this plot. I'm digging it. And then I remember like Piccolo, like the whole thing with Vegeta. All that stuff where like Vegeta has to fight against Goten and Gohan. And with that sick fight.
It's a fun set piece. It's short, but it's well paced and it's well, like, it felt good.
It's also the best looking fight in the show.
Arguably.
But it's got some cool moments. We see like this slow build with Baby. By the way, I'm going to point this out now in case anybody missed it. The Baby was on Earth for approximately 2.5 to 3 months. And the first thing that he does is that he takes over Goten and Gohan and then hits Piccolo. Blasts Piccolo.
Yeah, blast Piccolo with Gohan's Kamehameha.
Yeah. I'm saving this for later.
We already talked about it.
I know, but I have to bring it up again, and I want to remind people now. Because... Yeah,
2 months pass before Goku gets back.
Takes over Vegeta, and then, like off screen, which I'm okay with. I do feel like, unfortunately, when this happens, everything with Goku, Trunks, and Pan suddenly just becomes like.
No, I was happy with that because their little adventures were actually really cute.
Yeah. Oh yeah, their little side things, they're great, and like until they get back. And then we find out like the entire world has been infected. Babyfied. They've all got a little baby in them now. And it's a really cool setup, by the way. Having your heroes come back to Earth, but it is now completely...
Invasion of the Body Snatchers has happened.
Yeah, way to go. That's a really cool setup. But this is where things start to go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, not immediately, because I'd say it doesn't get bad until Goku gets blasted by the Dark Spirit Bomb the first time.
As I said, this is where it starts to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because one of the first things that happens that kind of, like, we find out that he laid eggs in Trunks. So, Trunks isn't on your side, so now it's just Goku and Pan. They go home, and then they find out, like, that moment when they're at home and Videl and Chi-Chi are acting weird is actually really unsettling. I love that scene. But then they very quickly find out, whoops, nope. Turns out...
Whoops, all babies.
Yeah, whoops, all babies. Goku then has to fight Gohan and Goten. And it starts out kind of cool. It's an interesting concept.
It's okay.
Like having to fight
I barely remember the fight itself.
But then Vegeta shows up.
Who's the main body of Baby?
Yeah. And that's when the fights start. And
all of his various transformations. And
these fights are bad. They're very bad fights.
They're not good. They're like, I still remember Super Saiyan 3 defeated? It's like, well, okay, whatever. But the way Super Saiyan 3 is defeated is boring as fuck.
It's crazy to me that Goku can go Super Saiyan 3, but can't teleport.
Can't
use
one of the many inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Until he can. So he fights Vegeta and gets the shit kicked out of him. No matter what happens, Vegeta, like baby Vegeta, keeps transforming into worse and worse looking forms. In my opinion, I think his best look is the fucking cyberpunk lines look.
I will say his final look grew on me a lot.
I know, like that's the one most people think of when they think baby Vegeta.
Okay, I'll say this. When the good art team is out, that form looks pretty cool and intimidating.
Yeah.
When the bad art team is out, it looks horrendous. And GT's got some ugly looking episodes. Ugly looking episodes.
Very much so. Although some of those are enjoyable for their own reason. But yeah, as soon as Goku gets blasted by the Dark Spirit Bomb and sent to Mario Party, I die. I die a death.
So good things in this arc. Baby.
No, I'm done with good things. Good things have happened. Super Saiyan 4's design. There you go.
Yeah. I love Super Saiyan 4. I love Baby. I like Baby. I like Baby. He's a good villain. I feel like there's a lot left on the table, and the way that the way he's beaten sucks. I'm sorry. That final fight is bad, and I will argue that.
I've come around a little bit on his ultimate defeat, while still super anticlimactic. He was always a coward and running away. No, it makes sense for him to lose there.
That was never my problem.
Yeah.
But and I think some people miss that, and I'll go into what I actually mean
when we get there.
But one thing I need to mention right now, and this is a problem throughout the entire show. In the comments, and again, please respectfully tell me why anyone likes the music of GT. I am very confused.
Are you talking about the music that we heard?
Yes. The music, the background music, the score.
Like the Japanese score?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Look, I'm glad we used the Japanese score. I've heard the American score. It's boring, where at least the Japanese version is weird and different and sometimes obnoxious.
Absolutely bizarre.
But I don't get it. I grew up, maybe it's because I grew up with Shunsuke Kikuchi's score.
I wonder why they didn't just stick with Kikuchi's score. Would they have had to pay the licensing fees or something?
I don't know. I genuinely don't understand. The guy that they put in there had never done...
Yeah, we talked about that.
It's nuts to me. And
They've never done a score before.
So people who really like the score, I'm very curious what your perception is of it down in the comments, because I would love to know.
There are certain times where what they throw in there is kind of fitting, but most of the time
there's some really good tracks.
There are some.
There are some tracks
but there are some really bad ones.
Yeah,
obnoxiously bad.
And the placement. Ooh, the placement.
I'll never forget Goku and the episode we opened on Goku and Trunks being kidnapped, and it's just this very peaceful sounding happy music. It's like, what the fuck's happening? Even?
Yeah, I don't. But no. The rest of the good is, I really like Maju's design
and Boo's goodbye. Yeah. Satan had some fun moments.
Oh yeah, good. Yo, Satan is top throughout. The best, most consistently, I liked Satan in this show.
There were a lot of why is he here, but I'm never sad that he's here.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know why you're here, but I'm glad you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, in his moments with Pan, actually, those two together usually are pretty good.
Yeah, he's a doting grandfather, and it's cute.
Yeah,
but yeah, there's the pacing is the worst part, and the Mario Party stuff, awful. The literal ass pull. I know, I understand the need for it, but oh my god, does it fucking drag.
I don't know what the idea with the Mario Party stuff was. I don't get it.
You didn't need the Tanuki. It felt like they just needed filler. Like, because those two never show up again. It's not like they're hanging around the Kai planet for the rest of the series.
Oh my God, you're right. They don't even become recurring characters. They just show up and then they leave. Yeah, I'm sorry. Those episodes are very bad. They don't. They're just there to keep Goku from the action and help give him a level up. And I'm sorry, they're all bad. Especially considering in the meantime, like we have
two episodes of that bullshit.
In the meantime, we have stuff with like Pon trying to use the laxatives, which is kind of funny.
I like the poop pills. I thought it was funny.
It's kind of funny, but like, and then Oob shows up, which, oh hey, cool.
Finally.
Nice to see you, man.
Then the narrator's like, can he hold him off while Goku recovers?
Yeah, right.
It's fucking.
Now, I will say what they ultimately end up doing with him does help them save the day. I'm at least glad that something with Oob does pan out, but that is also going to be the last moment that Oob is actually relevant in the show, save a filler episode. So it sort of sucks.
Relevant there.
Yeah, it sort of sucks. It actually just sucks.
If you're not Goku, leave.
Yeah, GT stands for Goku time.
Yeah, it's Goku time,
But-
or Giru time, depending on
Giru time.
depending on your taste.
But yeah, the moment that Goku starts facing off against Baby the first time, is where everything just immediately goes downhill for me. Everything
it hits
after
a wall.
Everything after that has a couple of highs, but it just drops to a certain base level.
Eventually, Goku comes back, and we get that kind of like slight slump of a comeback. But he's always on the back foot until he turns into Giant Gold Monkey.
Yeah.
At which point he does the rampage. We have that cute scene with him and Pan where she convinces him to, dude, chill the fuck out.
Also, who decided to give the voice? Why the voice? Yeah, it's bad. I'm sorry. I love you. I love Nozawa Masako very, 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 very much. That was awful. Yeah, no, that it was so silly. I hated that.
They just needed to low, like they needed the regular Ozaru roar. That's all.
Yeah, that's all they needed. But
then we get two different Super Saiyan 4 transformations.
The first one is awful, and the second one is really good.
Yeah. In Super Saiyan 4, fun design. His run back on Vegeta, like baby Vegeta, fun. But then, oh God, does it overstay its does that bit overstay its welcome by a long shot, especially after Baby turns into Golden Monkey.
Yeah.
This is where I die a second death.
Yeah. The stuff between Goku and Baby when they're like both normal sized, there's a couple of really good action shots. I was actually kind of getting into it, but then like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna turn him into Golden Monkey.
And there's even some of that which I enjoyed, like Goku's like hip toss using the finger. Like there's some fun things there.
And I actually sort of like the fact that it's a parallel to Goku versus Vegeta. That first, like,
yeah.
Now it's all different and weird, and like I kind of dig that.
But then they take a nap for an episode.
Oh my God!
And the tragedy that is the Super Gallic Gun, the tragedy of the Super Gallic Gun. It's so miserable.
How did Goku run out of energy and stay Super Saiyan 4?
It's
Why does the Super Gallic Gun basically like make a crater the size of what Piccolo Jr. did at the 23rd World Tournament? Why is like I understand power scaling is tough at this moment, but you've got to sell the strength of these attacks. You've got to sell the strength of these characters.
Just don't let it hit Earth. That's all you had to do is just have it be deflected away so it doesn't hit Earth. Or maybe it like does what the Final Flash did and just kind of grazes it and now you have this big valley or something. I don't know. Like just show the power of that move. Otherwise, it is what it is, which is not a threat.
Yeah. Also, like, don't have Goku just sit there while somebody charges their attack and then says, oh no, I don't have time to counter it. Well, yeah, because you were sitting there watching him charge it, you idiot. Sorry. I hate that final battle. I hate that final battle.
It ruins the rest of what was like a really well set up arc.
I mean, I don't know if it ruins the rest of it necessarily.
Well, yeah, okay, it doesn't ruin the rest of it, but it certainly tarnishes the entire arc because that's what you're left with.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
that and his big burning butthole.
Yeah. Because, and here's the thing. When I talked about like why I don't like the ending, why I feel like it's not that he tries to escape and gets blown to the sun. That part's fine.
It makes sense. He's trying to live to fight another day, but no.
Yeah, it's the lead up to that sucks.
And it is a bit of an anticlimax.
Yeah, like the whole fact that, first of all, no, I'm sorry, Goku can't just turn energy good and then absorb it into himself. This is absurd.
He does it later. I'm fine with it.
He does it later? You mean when he purifies the ball as Super Saiyan Gogeta?
Yeah, purifies the power ball.
Yeah.
It's something. Remember, every time his body gets hit by an attack, it learns.
I know, and I hate that too. Don't get me started on how much I hate him purifying the ball.
We'll get there.
But like, I'm sorry, the fact that he just ass pulls the ability to absorb other people's energy out of nowhere. No, I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
If they had seeded the idea of it earlier,
but seeding ideas in GT,
they didn't have the time or the forethought to.
Deathly allergic. And it's just like then he takes in the energy, then he uses a blast to blow off his tail, and that's it. That's the end of the fight. Because for some reason, when Baby shrinks down, he's too big for Vegeta's body.
Okay, there's a few things to that. The fact that he lost the golden monkey form, he's not winning that fight anymore.
He's not winning.
So I think his idea is, I'm going to try to slip away.
I mean,
I'll take that. It's still bad.
Him trying to get away is fine. Although again, my point is, he flat out says he can't stay in Vegeta's body now, which that makes no sense to me. That makes no sense. There's a way you can make it make sense, but you have to then give your own particular reason that's not given by the series, and that's not good writing. I'm sorry. So like, everything that leads up to that sucks.
And
he does the stupid absorb the attack thing, takes down Baby, blows off his tail, he shrinks down and escapes and gets blown up. That sucks. If there had been a big climactic showdown where Goku had pulled out the win at the last second and then beaten like...
Or even like have it be a thing where all of the people of Earth are, they get cured, right? Like, the Blackwater Mist gets expelled or whatever the fuck. And just have like everybody join together and you have like the Dark Spirit Bomb versus the regular Spirit Bomb. Or even, Yajirobe gets cured and he cuts off the tail. Have it be like an homage, just something. Somebody else cut off that fucking tail.
Imagine if he'd thrown that dark ball. And then, he's trying to hold it off the best that he can. And then the rest of humanity starts giving him power. And suddenly, the next thing you know, this big blue ball starts to appear in his hands. That would have been so cool.
Yeah, the idea, or like even kind of mixing the two ideas of Goku trying to purify it and push it back. And it's like all of the people that are being cured, like giving Goku their energy. All of the people that are still babies, giving Baby their energy. And it's just, all of a sudden it starts shifting in the other direction.
Yeah, have it be this big climactic moment. But we never get that. There is no big climactic moment. Him being blown up isn't my problem. If we'd gotten a big climactic moment, just like with Vegeta,
and then he gets blown up.
Yeah, instead of like where Vegeta gets away, instead of letting him get away, this time Goku's like,
I'm just gonna shoot him into
suck.
the sun.
Yeah, like that would have been fine. I would have been okay with that.
You can continue that sort of parallel.
But no.
And it only gets worse.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Because back to Piccolo, poor man.
So, to recap, 2.5 months ago, he was hit by a Kamehameha. He is now still damaged by this Kamehameha.
Still wounded.
It makes no sense. He shows up because Goku, they decide that they're going, basically they all decide, okay.
Let's move everybody to Planet Tuffle. Earth's about to blow up.
Yeah, because of technicalities and the Dragon Balls never being put back in the resting place, the timer never got reset. Earth is going to blow. We need to get everyone on Earth onto Planet Tuffle.
And Piccolo's like, I'm going to stay here because if I die, then there aren't any more Black Star Dragon Balls because Kami and me made him back when we were one dude. Why not just kill him right there and save Earth?
I don't know if that works.
Why the hell wouldn't it?
I don't know. Would nullifying the Dragon Balls, would that nullify would that nullify the Black Star Balls? Because it makes very little sense, because if you think about it, who do those belong to? Do they belong to Piccolo or do they belong to Kami?
Pick-a-me. The pick-me.
Yeah, it's weird. It's hard to tell who those balls belong to, and if Piccolo dying, I guess Piccolo dying, it means they belong to him.
Yeah, the entire idea is if I die, because these Dragon Balls were made by the Namekian that Kami and the Kami and I were and are now. That's why they exist. We tried making them, but they were impure.
But the problem to me is, why die? Oh, what? So the people are going to find the Dragon Balls again? Probably.
Maybe Earth couldn't be restored if they we're still out there somewhere. I don't know.
Maybe if that were a thing, like as long as the black star balls exist, like Earth will never be able to be restored. If that were it, I would be more okay with this death. I would accept it more.
And then there's another idea of like, why die? Just move everybody to planet Tuffle. All of a sudden, that's New Earth.
There's a lot of problems there, though.
Is there? Like, sure, like, you have that whole, like, post-blip scenario in Marvel where it's like, oh, now we're confused because now we have to rebuild society. But
also, you know what's fucked up?
Planet Tuffle just dis-a-fucking-peers.
Yeah, I still need to...
No clue why.
I think there was a piece of dialogue we might have missed.
Probably.
I'm sorry. But no, here's another thing. Remember at the end of Boo where they kind of rewrote everybody's memories? Like, oh, something bad happened, but nobody knows what.
Yeah,
like,
to get rid of the memories of Boo.
Yeah, not this time. This time it's just like,
everybody remembers.
Yeah, everyone remembers what happened. Like, they've given up on that entirely.
Yeah, humanity just lives in fear of the next cosmic threat. But goddamn, again, the entire Piccolo thing, super unearned, because like you said, some people are like, you have to look at it as if it were a continuation of his character from the first time you're introduced to him. Okay, but even then, who gives a shit? Like, because we've only seen him twice this show. The last thing, like the last bit we ever got from Piccolo ever was he taught Trunks and Goten fusion.
Yeah, the last thing we see from Piccolo, is besides the stuff that's at the end of Z. Here's a bigger problem. He's still not a part of this story.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, he needed to be a part of the story. Because this story is now ending with a character who wasn't a part of it. This story, not all of Dragon Ball, the Black Star Dragon Ball arc, he wasn't a part of it. He shows up once, gets Kamehameha'd, apparently never heals.
Disappears, also was never taken over by Baby.
Yeah, and then shows back up to die. That sucks.
Yeah,
I'm not
bad.
Like, and I don't care how loud.
Like
Gohan
if you can take something from that and it means something to you, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Like you do you. Everybody experiences media differently.
Yes.
But for my analysis, for like how it feels to have a character that is important in Dragon Ball lore to go out like that without any like
setup.
Without any setup.
Lead in, any good justification. Because again, I don't buy it.
He could have moved to Tuffle.
Yeah, he could have moved. They could have found found the Dragon Balls again and hidden them better. I'm sorry, the Dragon Balls were always going to exist. Oh, this one can blow up the Earth if we don't get it in a year. Who cares? If a bad guy got the Dragon Balls again, they could do any number of like that. What you're telling me is that we shouldn't have Dragon Balls because what if
which might be the moral of the entire story. But yeah, that entire thing unearned. Again, if he had gone on the adventure with them, if he had been a part of the story, if like there was some redemption that he was working toward, then it would have been earned.
Although, so this is really funny. I've had a bunch of Spanish-speaking fans on Twitter be like, "Yeah, it's not a great moment, but in the Spanish dub, he calls Gohan son, and we all love that." And I'm like, "Oh, that is cute." I mean, I personally wouldn't do that because I always think of Piccolo as a uncle figure. But the fact that he calls him son, I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, that would." Considering like how
it can be cute.
Yeah, considering the perception, I'm like, oh man. Even my heart was like, oh, that's cute as fuck.
But he is forgotten about just as quickly as Baby is.
Yeah, that makes it worse. Oh my god.
He doesn't even get a funeral. Like he gets a look from Gohan for a moment.
Yeah, that sucked. Like Piccolo is dead for good, and we get one moment where Gohan looks sad, and Goku's like, "Hey, why are you so sad?" Yeah, why am I so sad?
And the filler episode we get doesn't even acknowledge him. He doesn't get acknowledged again until Goku goes to hell.
Yeah, it's
bad. It's bad. That is probably the worst thing in GT. Maybe.
I don't know about the worst, but it is definitely
okay. It's not doll talkie, but
sorry. Like I tried to like, oh man, all those feelings that I had from before have been pulled back. I thought I was past this. Yeah, I'm sorry. The last third of the baby stuff is a dumpster fire to me. Because it's one problem that cascades into another, that hits another, and then by the end of it, I was just so fucking glad that it was over. And amazingly, once it was over, my expectations were so low that going into this next arc, I was like, screw it. Give me trash. I am here to eat your trash.
Welcome to what is essentially my favorite arc of the show.
Yeah?
Super 17, my favorite arc of the show. Everybody was talking shit about it beforehand. Understandable. I get it. I understand why this is trash. But it is very well paced. It's over quick. You get, like, the enjoyable moments that you get within it are enjoyable enough to sustain me. It's another case of a interesting concept done poorly, but
at least it's batshit.
And it's quick.
Yes.
It's so quick. Hell opens up. I'm just going to go through the things that I enjoyed. I like the idea of hell opening up and Goku not giving a fuck. Nobody cares about the plot until an actual threat shows up.
Right.
Everybody's like, just clean up the trash, Cyberman. Let's get some member berries out there.
Everybody seems very nonchalant about the fact that they have to go through and re-kill a bunch of these old villains.
And it's all like, 19's head fell off. Pui Pui dies immediately.
Oh yeah,
bunch of dead Cybermen.
The member berries are strong.
Pan beats the Red Ribbon Army. It's fine. I wish there was a little more to it. Like, maybe have Tien and Yamcha fight Raditz and Nappa or something. Like, give them something.
Oh my god, dude, that would have been sick as fuck.
Right?
Oh,
give them something. Yeah. Just give, like, even if it's just like a 3-minute scene where they are clearly in the lead. Let him have it back. Give Tien his run back on Nappa.
Yeah, that would have been great. I would have loved to see that.
Just little segments. It doesn't even have to be a whole episode.
So many characters just not used. So many villains not used. Mm-hmm. We see more villains, more interesting villains in that, like those 2 screenshots on the TV. They never appear. Again, it's just a bunch of fodder, why? All these characters are strong enough to fight some of the bigger guys.
Why couldn't Maju beat Babidi?
Oh, man. Oh, God.
And fight his whole swath of characters.
Imagine if Maju had gone up against all those guys. That's so good.
Right? And I take back what I say about Deborah, by the way, because people were right. Deborah's in heaven.
Yeah.
Would not have been coming down.
Deborah is in heaven. You're right.
So, like, that whole run back with him and Gohan wouldn't have mattered. Fine. Him and Rildo can have a fight for no reason. But you had this chance to just have like a bunch of cute little fun little moments where the battles, like, sure, you could have made them as tense as you wanted, but they also could have just been boom, done. But you had this chance to have these little scenarios where, like real fan wankery kind of stuff. Just underutilized. Yeah. Very underutilized. Hellfighter 17, a lot of great cool looking shots. Hellfighter 17 versus Vegeta, not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Super 17 versus everybody, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for them. That was the drubbiest of jobbings.
Also, one of my favorite moments in all of GT, Goku riding the Kenzan and using a stalagmite as a Nyoibo.
Goku clowning on Cell and Frieza, fucking great until they throw him into Mario Party, essentially.
Yeah. No, like again, GT likes to keep Goku occupied and like with dumb bullshit. Not with something like, at least
they kept him occupied with interesting bullshit for a second, and then we're like, it'd be better gags.
At least in the original manga, Goku's busy either recovering or training. Here, it's just like, no, he's off doing other stupid bullshit.
He's getting tickled and frozen.
Yeah. There's a lot of funny and fun moments, and luckily, at this point, again, I was so broken. Like, I'm still absolutely flabbergasted that the androids have ki now, and that they can sense each other's ki.
And that 19 had a soul or was rebuilt in hell.
No, I mean, like, 18 and 17 having souls makes sense.
18 and 17, sure, but what about 19? It was pure robot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. 19 should not have come back. Also, 17. How do you build an how why hell?
Again, he died on King Kai's planet.
Hell.
I'll stick with that as my explanation. My bullshit explanation.
It makes no sense to me that hell just let these people build a new 17. I can't handle that. It's absurd. The absurdity is too much, man. It's too fucking much.
Yeah.
But like again, it's also hilarious because I'm like I don't care.
It's dumb. You're along for the ride.
No one ever told me that this arc was good. I'm not going to act like it ever gets good. I'm just going to sit here and again eat your garbage. And you know what? It was fun garbage.
It was fun garbage. Like, it could have been better garbage, but it was fun garbage.
Yeah.
So, like, you get Super 17, jobs everybody, and finally Goku's back. And that's where we get probably the most fun fight in the show.
I will say the fight is rather fun because of what it does, but the fact that Goku, a character not known for spamming ki blasts, keeps spamming ki blasts on this character.
Yeah, but we get intercontinental ballistic martial arts, so that's...
And that's neat. But then afterwards we get like, Goku's like, okay, I'm going to use my strongest attack to prove whether or not you can absorb energy. Look, Goku's allowed to be stupid, but not in battle. He's not.
He's a fighting genius.
You've written him wrong. You've written him wrong. This
Yeah.
is very bad.
He keeps playing into the playing into the like key absorbing nature of Super 17.
Which again is so weird. He's not known for that.
Yeah, it is a little odd that he keeps testing his theory in the ways that only make things worse for him.
Yeah.
We do get that great scene with 18 where her Seiyu just goes ham, even if it's like kind of a nonchalant death for Krillin. It is a necessary death in order to play into what we need to get into next.
I will say, if we were to handle that scene, I would absolutely have 17 go like, wait a second, who's the girl? My daughter. And who's the mother? Her.
What?
And then immediately just have him blow a hole through him.
I told you not to fuck my sister.
I told you not to fuck my sister.
That wasn't kind! Those don't count!
Yeah, no, I'd immediately like, I like that in my head. I was like, oh yeah, no, he kills him because he fucked his sister. But yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
17 barely has a character too.
Oh, he has less character than he had in Z.
Yeah.
And we had to add a character for him.
And I'm sorry, Krillin's death still kind of sucks. I don't like it. For me, it's just...
I do stand by I'll stand by it because 17 is currently fighting between his nature and his desires. Like that moment where he does shoot him is clearly anime. Like he's like he's fighting something. So it's this internal reflex to like you are causing problems in my brain. I need you away now.
Yeah, but I feel like it's, I don't know, Krillin dying is always given this sort of gravitas, but here it just sort of happens, and like...
18's reaction gives it gravity.
Yeah, I mean, 18's reaction is good, but ultimately it's just she hits him a bunch and then collapses after she gets hit by a blast.
Yeah, because he needs to be the main threat.
I know. It bothers me because I get what they're trying to go for, and I feel like there's a better version of it, but what we get is so bare minimum that it just feels more insulting than it does like an actual moment.
They could have added more to it. Again, I stand by the idea, take 1 or 2 episodes away from the end of the baby saga, trim that shit down a lot. It would make both better.
Yeah, no, I mean, 1 more episode for 17 could have been good if it had been used to like inform some character stuff. And a couple episodes from Baby would have been better. But it's hard for me to even get mad though, because again, like, hey, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is dumb, but I accept it now. I've made peace that 17 is just dumb.
Yeah, and 18 does come back for the climax of the 17 Goku fight.
Which I like what they do there. The fact that
even if in execution it could have been like a little bit more, given a little bit more to her.
Yeah.
But
I'm still, the whole thing about her bluffing about the bomb in her chest, I guess it is possible 17 never realized his bomb hadn't been taken out.
Yeah.
It feels weird to me.
It feels weird that he wouldn't, well, Goku points out that he probably did know. It's weird that she thinks that that's the bluff that's going to work though.
It is a weird bluff. Are we sure that bomb's strong enough at this point? Like, that bomb was made
and even so, she knows that it's gone. She was there when the wish was made.
Well, yeah, but she's...
I get it. It's still a bluff.
Yeah, and saying that she knows that it's gone because she saw it, but he doesn't know that it's gone because he didn't.
And they were never in contact ever again.
That's a good fucking point.
That's what I was getting around to.
Yeah.
But
They never talked. 18 never found 17. They never talked about the fact that the bombs are gone. I'm sorry. I never even thought about that. What the fuck?
Yeah. So again, problems in execution.
Oh my god.
But ultimately, we do get a really cool Dragon Fist, and that Kamehameha impalement is fun. While it's, again, very much a boom, it's over situation, I was fine. Like, this was my favorite arc in the show. Says a lot. Says a lot.
I'm sorry. I need a moment to recover.
After these messages. There's a full moon out tonight. Now you too can embrace the primal fury of the Ozaru by going to sharkrobot.com/team4star and getting the new free Ozaru Moon shirts. Embrace the power within. Available now. Yeah, this is how we script ads.
Oh my god. So,
Welcome back.
yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Shadow Dragons.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Parts that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
A lot of the Monster of the Week elements were fun. Poor execution on a lot of the monsters, but
I could not care about anyone but 4, 3. I think 4 and 3 and 1.
yeah, and you know what? I don't think the show did either.
Wait, no. Panties one. The Wind one. The Wind one actually had some neat stuff to it. Had an actual story with an actual side character. That one was almost...
told a story.
Yeah, that one was actually not bad.
Jelly Chicken was boring and they were saved by nature.
Pollution
one,
was a
they were
little-
also kind of saved by nature and Giru.
Yeah, but at least that there's something there beyond just like happenstance. There's teamwork involved. It's fine. Electric Chicken sucked. Then there was the Panties one.
Then there was Mole.
Mole. Okay, the Mole one had some funny bits.
I loved the design of Mole. I loved his like grump and Goku's whole like, if you're not gonna fight back, this isn't fun.
Yeah, like the worst part about the Mole one is how he's defeated, because it's like, you really seriously, you're just going to like put Pan out there for no good reason so he can take her out and kill you? What? This is so dumb.
It's also the fact that it lasted 2 episodes.
Oh yeah. Another one that could have been 1 episode and was instead 2. Hell,
Yeah,
the one with the Panties dragon was only 1 episode, and it was perfect.
Yeah, that might have been the best Monster of the Week dragon.
Yes. Oh, easily. The fact that they actually had to use a strategy to do it by going in the eye of the tornado. The fact that Pan actually helps contribute to that win. Like the fact that
Bish and his birds.
yeah, we love Bish
And his alcoholic dad.
and his alcoholic dad. Yeah, no, there's an actual story there. Like, I wish more of these had actual stories. But no, we only get the 1.
Yeah.
And then, like, 4-star shows up. And, I don't know, all of this stuff. Like, so we start off, and this is sort of interesting, and I wish I'd kind of paid a little bit more attention, but the fucking, the expo
the
dump.
exposition is too much.
Oh
it's
my
too,
God.
like it was a Kojima cutscene of exposition.
Yeah. Finding out, like, and the worst part was,
It was necessary stuff, like stuff that you needed to pay attention to.
I was going to say, you could have cut, like, half of that shit.
You could have cut it,
or truncated it.
but they hid so many important details in there.
Yeah, so something that is hinted at in the 17 arc that is confirmed at the very beginning of this arc that I kind of missed at the very beginning was that the Dragon Balls cracking are what helped.
Yeah, like it was causing a massive spiritual imbalance. The overuse of the Dragon Balls was causing spiritual pollution.
Yeah, and so that's one of the reasons the land between the living and the dead was opened up. This comes back to play later in a way that I actually find very interesting, like legitimately, sincerely. And so that's shown, and then it's like, oh, by the way, so yeah, because of the use of the Dragon Balls, they're cracked, and now they're fucking...
They're evil, they're corrupted.
Yeah, now there are bad dragons, and these bad dragons
Are going to fuck the world.
Yeah, exactly. Using many different elements, which I actually liked that. I was like, oh, hey, cool, they all have their own...
Yeah, they have shticks, they have gimmicks.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm glad that they're not just like, oh, like I have this design and I'm powerful and maybe you have a quirk to me. No, they actually have a gimmick to each one. And fucking Supreme Kai just goes on and on and on about how, oh, you always overuse the Dragon Balls. And it's like, you know what? I can point to you like 2 wishes that are actually like really genuinely selfish. And then the rest of them are actually like trying to help the world.
Yeah, we need to bring back all those people that were just killed, or bring back Earth in general.
Yeah, and it's like, and I understand like this whole entire idea of like, don't mess with the natural order. But like, first of all, why did nobody know? Well, oh no, actually, here's another thing that we missed because there was so much fucking exposition. Popo says, oh, Popo remembers how this happened on another planet once. What?
The intergalactic genie.
Yeah. First of all, what? Well, okay, thanks for telling us that there are Dragon Balls on other planets
Bitch, I tell you what I want when I want.
I know, right? So besides Namek, that's a big drop.
Yeah.
Which the Super actually does stuff with later, which I found very interesting. Second, excuse me, why the fuck did you say anything? You knew? You heard about this? And you were like, oh, whatever, you know, I'm just...
What I want when I want.
I know. Well, hey, and Supreme Kai's getting on Bulma's case when, if you think about it, other people were... like, he's like, oh, it's because of your radar. The Red Ribbon Army had a radar.
Yeah,
they were
although
finding...
they could have cloned the technology. Like, maybe it's because she discovered how.
But it's never implied.
Well, it can only be implied.
No, inferred.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's
like,
never...
gets on her shit. She talks shit back, though.
Yeah, and it's like, this is so stupid. Like, I don't even hate this as a setup. Why did you do it in the dumbest way?
It didn't bother me that much. I was drained by all the exposition by that point, I think.
Like, going back and reading the exposition made it worse. Yeah. I made it worse. I like, there's a... like, it was like my brain was trying to protect me in that moment by being like, don't pay attention to too much of the details. We have evil dragons now. That's all you need to know. So yeah, I'm sorry. That start is actually worse than I remember. And then we get into a bunch of boring dragons with a couple of neat moments here or there. Which again, and I will stand by this, and I'm sure you will too, it shouldn't have been Goku and Pan for most of them. It should have been all of them.
They needed to mix it up.
Yeah. Like Gohan and Goten, Trunks and like Vegeta. Like again, it's like you said, what if Goku had fought off against 4-star while Vegeta takes 3-star? That could have been so freaking cool. Could
have been plain stuff. Instead, Vegeta had to have a filler episode where we watched Dragon Ball Z.
Oh my god. Oh my, I can't wait for that episode. That episode of GTFS has not dropped yet, and I am so excited for people to watch that particular episode. Oh my god.
It's ridiculous.
It's so bad.
Like,
it's hilariously bad.
And again, some of the Monster of the Week stuff, fun. I liked Wind Dragon of Ra. Chicken was boring. Pollution was okay, I guess, as an introduction.
Mole had funny moments.
Yeah, Mole was my favorite designed dragon.
Oh really?
Yeah, huh. I liked his goobery Muppet look.
I do have to, it's really sad because the Panty Dragon looked really good, and then like we see its
then they decided that it had a different form for no reason.
I'm sorry, why give it the ugly form? Why are all these dragons so ugly? I get that they're evil, but even Toriyama still had like some design sense to make his villains look cool. Why are
I'll cede to the idea that they looked a lot like King Piccolo's demon babies. Like maybe there's something about the Namekian creations of it all that there's so I'll cede to that, but
yeah,
it is weird that they decided to give Wind Dragon like an interesting look, and then for no reason whatsoever, just a very generic gargoyle dragon look. It was unnecessary.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, you had such a good design, and also, why does he have the power to come up with a new face?
They did it for no reason other than maybe like this one seemed to have
a god complex. It wanted to be worshipped.
This desire to be worshipped, but you can do that without it needing to change form. Yeah, it can be that pretty looking one that's still very embarrassed by the wish that created it, which also is a problem that I kind of had where they kind of dropped the whole like this is the wish that created me.
What wish?
We know nothing about 4, 3, and 1.
Yeah, I feel like we never get that info. Am I wrong in that one? Hey, comments. I might be dumb and missed it. I'm completely willing to accept that.
Because
did they ever say it?
Yeah, the poison one I believe was the resurrection of Upa or Upa's dad. Bora, that one.
Yeah. We know what the panty one was.
Yeah, panty one. I don't think we were given an explanation for chicken. And then we know nothing about 3, 4, and 1, which, I mean, you really could have played into a theme of some sort. But then we get introduced to Nova, who has like more of an honorable streak, the symbolism with the 4-star ball like being more aligned with Goku, and the 3-star ice dragon that's more of a dick, like conniving, just win by any means necessary.
Which, by the way, that dynamic, those two dragons in that dynamic that they have make them some of my favorite villains in this entire show.
It's because they're the most interesting. Like
Yeah.
they're the only, like they're actually given stuff to work with. And Goku and Nova actually have like some interesting moments, some really weird moments, like that chase, that chase sequence throughout the hotel, which was very Looney Tunes.
That's another
like
sequence
very
that,
Hanna-Barbera.
That's a sequence that starts out like interesting and then goes on way too long. Oh my god.
Yeah, but he and Goku have like this whole honorable, like, yeah, you could have killed Pan, so I'm gonna give you like a round 2.
Yeah.
Ice doing no such thing and blinding Goku, but
oh my god, the finish on 3-star.
Yeah, that big twisty ass dragon fist. Loved
That
it.
was sick as hell.
Best finish in the show, mind
Best
you.
finish in the show, no doubt. Like
Coolest looking at the very least.
yeah, and the fact that it just not only goes around the
Spins
city,
around the
and
city
then
and
goes down. I'm like, holy hell. The Dragon Fist is like, yeah, I'm sorry. That is such a cool signature attack for Goku.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that was brought over from movie 13. If they were going to essentially make
I marked out when he used it against 17. I'm like, oh shit, he's bringing that out.
Yeah, it's cool as hell. A+, no notes.
Yeah, it got a way better kill than he deserved. And I do like that moment where he like slices Goku's eyes and you get that building fall. Like that's a great anime trope.
Yeah.
I love that trope.
Oh yeah. There's some really good stuff in a couple of those episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like once we hit
There are high points throughout.
yeah, once we hit 4-star, things immediately go up quite a bit. They go back down later, but hey, it's really cool for a moment.
It's peaks and valleys from this
Yeah.
point out, because and it's embodied by Sin and then Omega.
Goku's blind for a while.
He's blind for a while.
And
the most interesting part about the early part of that fight is the fact that it takes place in a theme park.
Yeah, very interesting visual stuff. One good thing about GT in general, GT foregoes a lot of the like deserts, deserted areas, a lot of the wastelands, and actually puts a lot of its fights in
Interesting locations.
admittedly
City
deserted
centers.
cities. Like there's no people here, but at least we're getting interesting locations, and sometimes they even use that environment to, like as part of the fight. And that's something about GT that
They fight on a roller coaster.
yeah, I mean, it kind of makes absolutely no sense. How much can Goku see? Because he's grabbing stuff as he's falling. He's running across like the track. Goku being
Blind
here
doesn't really do much.
Yeah, it doesn't change the story almost at all. I don't even know why they kept him blind for as long as they did. Honestly, he should have been able to use the thing on his eyes. And as he was doing that, 4 gets shot. Like, he couldn't stop that. That would have been interesting to me. But instead, he's just blind.
Just stays blind for a while.
Which, again, 1-star apparently must be like fooling around with him because it doesn't.
They do play one fun idea with it, and that's the idea, like, you can track my energy, you can track my movements, but what about things getting thrown at you? Fun idea. Goku can still sense it.
Yeah.
He's still like, I can still hear it.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? His training with Popo did that. Like they had a whole thing about that. So
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, I'm totally.
But ultimately, yeah, the blindness means nothing.
Yeah, it's kind of like this not actual drama.
It's a hindrance when it needed to be for the plot.
And it kind of never was. I don't remember a single moment where he actually failed because he couldn't see. Do you remember a moment where he failed because he couldn't see?
I can't off the top of my head, but I'm sure there was a few moments where it's like, where is he?
And here's the worst part. The one moment where it really does count. The one moment
When he's
where
bluffing.
When he's bluffing. But we've already seen he doesn't need to bluff. He already knows where 1-star is. So what's the point? Like, he can tell where 1-star is. He doesn't need to bluff. So it meant nothing.
Yeah, the finish of that fight is like he bluffs and then he blasts him, and then he becomes Omega Shenron because it's a false finish. You know, Goku takes round 1.
I think he already.
He wasn't Omega at that point. When he becomes Omega, it's a stomp.
Right.
This was after like they powered him up to super full power Goku, like he's beyond his limits. When he's Omega, it's shit slap city until Gogeta.
Right. So it's.
Yeah, we get the false finish, and then Omega Shenron, slap. Vegeta shows up. Super Saiyan 4 wears it good. He wears it good.
Yeah. I definitely like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta more than I do Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and that's saying a lot because I like Super Saiyan 4 Goku. That's not the only detriment.
Even though he has a mullet,
it's not a mullet.
It's a bit of a mullet.
It's more sticking up. I don't know. It's hard to say.
But yeah, he Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, that entire segment, great. No, I like the stuff like his design. The only parts I had an issue with were just his overly playful nature.
Yeah, he kind of just wastes a bunch of time, which isn't like Gogeta.
But it has those great moments like to get punched in the face 3 times and all it did was make your nose bleed. Like there's great stuff there.
There's stuff that I like.
Yeah.
It's just
it's honestly mostly stuff that I like, with a few things that I'm like, gonna GT.
The problem is the stuff that I don't like is how it moves the plot forward, which is a lot of GT. And it's like that Gogeta is acting like Gotenks. That makes no sense. Why?
Him being a little too playful, because there's Vegito who's cocky and I'm gonna slap you down. I'm going to make you feel little. And then there's him being way too playful, which I kind of erred towards the side of him being, monkey god, Sun Wukong inspiration, which I'm okay with. But it is ultimately a problem when that is what dictated the plot from that point forward.
I will say this is where he's looking most Monkey King.
Yeah.
And you're right. I like the design of. I actually really do dig the design for
Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Even the red hair makes no sense. But
yeah, we're not going to talk about the color scheme. It's probably still the best color scheme out of the 3 of them, if I have to be honest.
Yeah. But yeah, from that point forward, it's a lot of can they do it again? Which admittedly is a fun way to play with the because setting up the audience to think this is how you have to finish it, they need to find a way to fuse again. I buy that.
I hate that episode with a passion. It is nothing. You could cut that. When you can cut an entire episode out cleanly and not lose anything meaningful, and I mean anything. There's nothing that happens in that episode.
Even 4-star coming back doesn't really, it amounts to nothing.
Oh yeah, 4-star coming back. You can cut that too. You can cut them trying to get around and fuse again. You can cut 4-star coming back. Not lose anything.
The only thing you lose, I guess you don't necessarily lose it because you could just have Goku swallow the ball anyway. But him getting the ball back because 4-star came back is.
But that's after it comes out of his.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, remember?
Yeah, he gobbles that ball.
There's no reason.
Yeah, there really wasn't.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm sorry. I genuinely just do not like those episodes. They add nothing. They're not creative. They're repetitive as hell. And so, and here's the thing. I actually like 4-star stand down with 1-star. It's a good stand down. I actually dig it, but it just kind of goes nowhere.
Yeah, it just gets him back to Omega form, and I do like that reveal when he breaks out of Nova, and that last piece falls off, and you see the 4-star ball there again. That the pure mood of everything from that point on. Great, because it's the darkest we ever get in Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Everything is hopeless.
Yeah, the oh my god, the despair that you feel in those final moments where everyone teams because fucking Vegeta telling them you need to get
yeah, everybody get out of here. We're gonna hold him off. Get on a spaceship. Avenge me.
Yeah, that is a hella moment. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Goku eating the power ball because Vegeta's final shine attack was never gonna do anything ever in this show.
Yeah, watching 1-star just tear through everybody and stab Vegeta in the shoulder. The a lightning bolt destroying an entire city while other places are just ruined. It's a big moment. It feels
it's the best episode of Dragon Ball GT. Is its final episode.
Its final 2 episodes are really solid in a lot of places, but I will say one thing about this, about the big finale. It's really quick.
It is
Because
kinda
because the moment
but it
Goku-
feels right. But it feels paced correctly.
in terms of the information that it has to tell you, yes. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's like Goku's getting energy from everyone in the universe. And if you, like, I'm very curious how anybody watching it who doesn't know how it ends is going to react to Goku just tanking all those shots from One Star. But, like, in terms of what happens, Goku has to use the Universal Spirit Bomb. He builds the Universal Spirit Bomb. He throws the Universal Spirit Bomb. That's the story. That's what happens there. And it's framed well enough. It's like
it's literally a curtain call because we went over this in the conversation that we had with about Omega Shenron, in that he's a really nothing villain.
He
is there to be a wall, to be like that final thing. He's less of a villain and more of an obstacle. And Goku overcoming that obstacle with that final curtain call of let's get the cameos from everybody back here again. This is it. We're at the end. It is what it needed to be. In order for it to have been more, Omega Shenron would have had to have been more. Unfortunately, he was less.
I still would have preferred if 4-Star had come out in the last moment to to save them, instead of doing that that failed suicide attack that ended up doing nothing. If he'd come out of Goku's head at that last moment tanked all of One Star's blasts, that would have been better to me. Maybe. Because at least it would have given 4-Star something to do.
There's a whole lot of fan fixing that I could think of here.
I know. I'm just all I'm saying is Goku just gets to do the Spirit Bomb and that's it. Which, I mean, technically he's paid for it. After the fact, we find out that he's...
And I think that's great. The entire execution of that point forward, from what they did, from what we got, is great.
It is. It's very interesting because that next episode makes that last episode better. But when I was watching it, I'm like, oh, well, this is
what's going on with that? Why is he able to do that?
Yeah, and I was feeling like this sort of feels a little anticlimactic because it's the big moment. He's got the big spirit.
Which is why those 2 episodes have to be paired.
Yeah. I feel like
it should have been an hour-long special.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. And that's why I'm really glad that we watched them back to back. Very glad. But yeah, it just kind of makes the actual moment itself feels a little underwhelming. Where then afterwards you feel like, oh, okay, so there's
I see. Yeah,
there's a whole thing that happened. So it's weird. It's not bad. I will say this: that finish isn't bad. For me, it's just I'm used to the big finishes in Dragon Ball. You get these big moments, these big last minute moments. I feel like Goku's...
the fact that Ice Shenron got a bigger send off,
I would say that
or at least a more flashy send off.
Well, think about the way Goku beat Frieza. That is one of those moments where no, you don't get a big climax.
Yeah, you fool.
Yeah.
The fight was already over.
Yeah, the fight was over. But that moment we still built up to that moment because Frieza taking himself out. The poetry there is A+, and then him not getting it to the very end, and Goku after blowing him up. Perfect. There are ways to you don't have to have this big finish every time. But
not everything has to be the father-son Kamehameha.
But it is the final fight. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Goku just is oh, I guess I'll have to pull energy from the universe and then gets it.
But again, the fight feels like it's less of a point at this juncture.
Yeah.
It's not about the fight. It's about what everything about that led up to.
And what comes after it is actually more important.
Yeah. Genuinely, the last episode, unironically, best episode of GT.
Yeah.
As amusing as that is, it's the ending is the best.
Yeah, no, we've made it very apparent that we actually think it's the best, largely just because it does a lot of very interesting things. I like the idea that it plays with Goku being alive or dead and how that's very nebulous. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that Goku gets to say goodbye to all of these characters, and thus us with the audience also get to say goodbye to them.
But it's also, you also get that evergreen moment of he's just he's going on to whatever his next journey is. He's at rest, but he still persists in some way or form.
There's a little bit of hero worship going on, I feel, narratively.
But with Goku, it's kind of earned.
I mean, it is, but really the narrative should never be about Goku being a hero. I feel like that kind of undermines his whole character. But at the same time, Goku is a special person, and the thing that I like about the ending, is that it explores his relationship with other people. Again, it's Krillin, it's Piccolo. It's a little sad. He does actually get a moment with Vegeta, who's the first one to realize, and Vegeta's comment to Pan when she finds his robe,
hold that, keep it, hold that, cherish that.
Yeah, that is a much better finishing line than what he gets in the Tankobon, where he's like, oh, Goku, I'll beat you one day. No, that's actually a really good moment. Another good thing about GT, I really like Vegeta. I hate his first design. Don't love his later design because I think the short hair on Vegeta just doesn't look good. But damn, GT Vegeta, you are so much better.
Yeah, he is a developed character.
And I like it.
Until that weird filler episode where he kind of regresses a bit. But
well, it's less regression
and more of God, I've been left behind again. Damn it!
Yeah, but it feels like he's just I can get stronger. I just don't know how.
Yeah, how does he keep doing this? He's got a tail again. That bitch.
Yeah, but yeah, Vegeta in this whole show is better than Super Vegeta. I don't hate Super Vegeta, by the way. I just think that they keep doing playing the hits with them over and over again, and it.
Yeah, this is a Vegeta that went through his arc.
Yeah, and I like it. I like older, more mature Vegeta because he still has great moments. He's still himself.
Yeah,
he's still
ripping the wheel off that guy, those guys' car.
Yeah, he didn't blow them up. Progress. He's still Vegeta, but he's not murdering people. Yeah. The fact that he's still kind of a dick to everybody, but not aggressively so. He's just and oh my god, the fact that his daughter points out his mustache and he immediately shaves it. That's so good.
Yeah, she has all the power over him.
And you know what? I bet you if Trunks had said it, he'd been like,
shut up, boy.
Yeah, fuck off. No, it's the fact that his daughter did it. And that's oh, I know so many dads with their daughters. They care so much about what they have to say over their sons. And that's sorry.
No, Dad Vegeta is he's good in this.
In fact, I will say this. One thing that I do kind of dig about this show in general is that its character writing is a little bit better, just a little bit better than Super's was. Because it definitely felt like when it came to
Supers feels like they're writing a lot of characters as they're stuck in a time capsule. They're writing the caricature of the character.
Yeah, and stupid Super Goku is a thing. He's awful. Here, he's also still pretty dumb.
But he's a kid, so whatever.
But it doesn't feel so egregious. And also, he's also not doing a whole lot of serious shit 90% of the time. He's mostly just fucking off because he's got nothing else to do.
I'll say that GT made me understand Goten fans, if that makes sense. Because he's different from the rest of his family in this.
He's very different from Goku and Gohan. The fact that he's just trying to be a normal ass dude. He's just I think he's in his 20s actually.
In this, he has to be high school. Really?
Nope. Here's the thing. There's a time jump. 20 years have passed since the end of since the end of Boo. Not end of Z, end of Boo. Because there's the 10-year gap. Oh, is it 10-year gap? I'm pretty sure it's.
I can't. You're talking to the wrong guy or asking the wrong guy.
And then it is confirmed that it was 10 years after
the end.
It was either 10 or.
I remember there being some discussion about this early on because there were a couple different translations of it.
Yeah, it's either 5 or 10 years. But here's the thing. If it's 5 years...
He seems like a teenager, if I'm going to be honest. He seems like he's in high school.
He definitely does. He feels like a high schooler. But at this point...
Which is fine. That's where I'd set him.
Yeah, but at this point, he is in his 20s. But anyway, point being, it's funny. He just wants to be a normal dude. He wants to go on dates with girls.
But he's still strong. It's not he does training
Oh yeah, he's not out here not keeping up with stuff.
But he's a peacetime baby.
He's a peacetime baby, which it's good for Goten.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Trunks is okay. I will say
he probably keeps up with Trunks more than anything, and Trunks only keeps up with shit because Vegeta would beat him otherwise.
I will say this: I don't love Trunks in this because he's very bland.
Well, it's because he doesn't have any of the edge that Z Trunks had, Z Future Trunks.
Yeah, he has none. He has none of the dark backstory of Z Trunks. Z Future Trunks.
But they
And
try
he has-
to, but they treat him as if the audience should be like, oh yeah, this is like future Trunks. No.
And then he's like, but he's supposed to be like, oh, Kid Trunks. He's supposed to be the other wartime baby, or sorry, a peacetime baby. Who was a wartime baby, then a peacetime baby. But
Yeah, they both went through Boo, but that was a very short chapter of their lives.
Yeah, but at this point, Trunks just doesn't feel like. I feel like we've skipped all of his development, and now we're just kind of at a 20-something-year-old who's like, I don't want to do work, and that's the most we get from him.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, he's the mom on the ship. He's the mom.
He's the responsible one
Yeah,
that Piccolo should have been.
Yeah, he's the parent, and that kind of just turns him into this.
Non-entity.
Also, his outfit. I'm not a fan of his outfit.
Nah.
I never dug it. So Trunks, meh. Pan, we already talked about her. Goku is just kind of Goku.
He's Goku.
Yeah, from beginning to end, he's Goku. He's less stupid than Super Goku, but I will say is worse utilized because it definitely feels like.
Well, in the beginning, he's there to solve the problem, and in the middle, he just becomes the protag again.
Yeah, and constantly distracted by stupid bullshit before he can finally actually fix a problem. And also, turning him young again sucked. Piccolo, barely in there. Although him becoming King of Hell.
As far as outcomes go for him with what we got, I'm happy with him being King of Hell. Demon King Piccolo, let's go.
Yeah, King of Hell Piccolo, I only wish we could have gotten more. That's my only thing.
Yep. I just want more Piccolo.
Yeah.
He's probably my favorite Z character.
Also, the way he got there still sucks to me. So that's the thing that hurts me for. It hurts it for me. If his death had been earned, then I would have been even more on board. I would have been like, fuck yes, let's go. But the fact that I didn't like the way that he died, just kind of like, oh yeah, you're reminding me of this bad moment with something that I ostensibly like. So, but yeah, Krillin shows up a couple times.
He's always got a big old camping backpack.
That is weird. I don't know why he still had the camping backpack.
The first time made sense. They're about to leave Earth. Later, though, like they just kind of keep cutting back to him. He's always got that big fucking backpack.
Yeah. Also, he's got he's aged the most.
Yeah,
He's the character who looks the oldest now.
He looks older than Roshi.
And honestly, I'm happy about that. I'm glad that he was able to develop. I'm glad they didn't shy away from the fact that he's older now. He even talks a little bit about it, and there's that really sweet moment between him and Goku at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I do wish there had been a bit more Krillin in the series because Krillin is a lot of people's like second or third favorite character, and they don't even.
He's the most consistent character in Z.
Yeah, people don't know.
He's always there.
People don't know. People don't realize how MVP Krillin is. He's always there. He's always in the shit.
Until Boo, he's there.
Yeah.
For everything.
And so it is a little bit disappointing that he is pushed off a lot. Not sure there would have been a place for him in the plot. I definitely wouldn't want.
I mean, at least he had lines.
Oh yeah.
Tien and Yamcha. No.
Tien and Yamcha show up on screen once in the. I think Yamcha shows up twice.
They show up. Both of them show up on screen twice.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the extent of those characters. Which that also kind of sucks. There were moments for them in at least three. No, in all, yeah, at least three. Of these
the
arcs.
fact that they weren't even addressed when Baby was taking over
Right.
Earth, like we didn't get to see possessed Tien and Yamcha or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I understand, you have a big cast, you don't need to utilize all of them, but like
We got to get moving, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But to launch them is
yeah.
weird. I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, in terms of characters, everyone's mostly all right. In terms of the plot, that's where everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And so by the end here, we have a really decent ending. Like I'd say the best ending Dragon Ball's ever gotten, personally. I know that's up for debate. Some people feel like it's too saccharine. And,
Well, some people like the evergreen ending of Z, where like the adventure goes on. You come up with your own ending
from the manga.
Yeah, Super, to my knowledge, doesn't. It's not an ending. It's another evergreen non-ending where the manga kept going, and and yeah, this felt like a legitimate ending.
Yeah, and I liked it.
Yeah.
And did it make GT as a whole better for me? Actually, yes.
Yeah,
I will say
the ending does make watching the rest of it better.
Yeah, I won't lie.
I will never watch it all again.
No.
I'm done. But there are parts that stick out to me that I might revisit. Again, that Goku 17 fight does stuff that you never see ever in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I have to admit, knocking somebody into a different time zone is not something you see very often.
No.
I dug that.
And like just throughout that fight, they do some interesting stuff.
And the fact that a lot of it's washed out in like
It's like the art in that episode, like it helps that the art and animation in that episode is good. And 17 always has just like a face, like
oh yeah, he's got some great expressions.
what he lacks in personality they give to him in just emotes. Just,
his expressions are solid. His design, again, I also think is still solid.
yeah, his design's fine.
I still don't like him. I still don't like 1 star. I still think he looks silly. He's whatever. All the dragons look bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't really care about the Shadow Dragon arc, but it does lead to that ending.
You know what I will say about the Bad Dragon arc? It's a little boring.
Yes.
Like that's actually my.
It has its moment, but ultimately it's just sitting through bit by bit. Like, yeah, we're going somewhere. So it feels like less of an adventure than the beginning, but like less exciting than some of the fights we've had.
So Search for the Black Stars. Fun, whimsical, with some really bad moments.
Some of the lowest points in general.
Baby Saga almost comes close to the
conceptually the best.
Comes close to the some of the good stuff from Z.
Comes close to greatness, fumbles execution hard.
Yeah. 17, batshit insane.
Love it.
Incredibly fast paced. Dumb as hell. A billion problems. But damn it, I was laughing the entire. I was engaged. What a crazy like load of bullshit.
It's fast. It's boom, done.
And then Bad Dragons.
Yeah,
it's boring. There are too many episodes.
There are a lot of peaks and valleys in Dragons.
But at the very least, if the midpoint is a 5, then its good points are a 7, and its low points are at like a 4 maybe.
Well, if you're talking about like good points, like that ending probably up there at like an 8.59.
Yeah, I put that at like an 8 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ending helps the curve quite a bit.
Yeah, it brings up the average of that arc significantly.
Yeah, but that is the Shadow Dragons is a kind of boring arc until it's not, and then it just goes on a little too long.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like the only one that doesn't go on too long is 17.
Yeah, no, it is, and I guess it is the only one that genuinely just does not.
It's the only one that I feel like needed a little more.
Yeah,
just one more episode.
Yeah, like one more episode.
Play with hell a little more.
Yes. An episode where we really get to see everyone fight up against people from hell, and cut one of the episodes with what's it called, Goku and Cell and Frieza. You could cut that down at least a little bit, I think. And then you would have had, I think, an arc that still would have been bad, but at least it would have been more entertaining. And it's weird. I don't think it's the best arc. I know it's your favorite.
I also wouldn't say it's the best. It is my favorite, though.
What do you think the best arc is, then? I would skew Baby just because it is the one...
I can't because, like, I was so miserable at the end of Baby. If I were to say a best arc, if only because, at worst, it was middling, Dragons.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that argument, and it's still got some... Again, its moments are still good. It's just... Like, yeah, it keeps this, like, again, this mid-tone the entire way through with a couple of bits like, oh, that's cool.
It's like, oh yeah, Wind Dragon episode kind of neat. And Mole Dragon looks kind of funny. Oh, he has 2 episodes.
Yeah. So it's like, it's whatever. But yeah, I guess I would agree that the Bad Dragons are probably the best arc. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's GT.
Yeah, I'm so glad we are done with GT. I never ever have to watch it again. And now
we're done with GT, thank God.
And anytime I talk about it in the future, I don't have to second guess myself at all. It's bad, and you're right in your opinions just as much as I am.
Is it the worst that Dragon Ball ever got, like outside of Evolution?
I don't know. Definitely hard to argue. I mean, there's probably one worse.
What would that be?
Well, you know, we did just finish GT.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's another Dragon Ball series that we haven't watched through.
I've seen Super. You can't get me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I think we are going to do Super.
Fuck off.
That's right. We're doing Super Dragon Ball Heroes.
Is that the card game miniseries?
Yeah, it's the card game series that has a little web anime.
Oh no. 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 No!